watching Fintech Wave.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Ken from Fintech Wave. I hope you're well. I'm back with another video. The market is already starting to bounce back from a pretty steep sell-off we had last week. Came down some 22% from the all-time highs for Bitcoin. So I just wanted to check in real quick with an overview. I'm not going to go too in-depth into how each particular crypto is performing. That's not the focus of this video. Really, I want to talk about a bigger concept. It's about diversion. You know, on the one hand, they got you looking over here. They want you to perceive this image of what's going on. While on the other hand, they're doing almost the exact opposite of the picture they're trying to paint. You know, subterfuge is a good word. Strategic deception. That's exactly what it is. It's almost like, just to keep it brief, the impression of cryptocurrency that the ruling classes want the masses to have is that it's a headache. You know what I mean? They want you to associate a headache with the ownership and maintenance of cryptocurrency because, in a nutshell, they want to control it and they want you to just utilize it and be taxed on it. But as far as controlling it and benefiting from the gains of it and the growth of it and things like that, benefiting in a comprehensive way from all of the different in-depth processes that go on with crypto, like DeFi and things like that, they would really much rather not have the masses participating in decentralized finance, where it's you and a smart contract, no banker involved. They just want you kind of like dumbed down, doing your TikTok videos, dancing around, not really paying attention to what's really going on. And so the stuff that gets all the attention is not the United States is finally going to do a CBDC. We're finally getting our act together with electronic money, and we're getting ready to try to give China a better go of it competition-wise, because the China threat is very real. You know, those sorts of positive, constructive, developmental concepts is not what I see being pushed in the media. What I see being pushed in the media is stuff like this. This was from November 2020, 6 months ago, something like that. Record 1 billion worth of Bitcoin linked to Silk Road seized by US government. I mean, at the time, I was really into Bitcoin. And the end of last year, Bitcoin finally hit 20,000, but everybody's waiting for Bitcoin to blow up after this long crypto winter. And instead of seeing a ray of hope, this is what you get from the news. You don't want to own that anyway, because if you do own it, when you try to cash out, this is what's going to happen to you. That's the message I get. You know what I mean? A real negative message constantly being sent by the people in power where cryptocurrency is concerned. They want you to have a negative association with crypto. That's the brainwash that's going on. And when you control the media and you can control the message, you can make that message whatever you want. Then, you know, on page 6 or page 7, if it were a newspaper, you would see, oh yeah, CBDCs are on the way. Read a little further and it's like a trial is coming in July. Look, China did a trial last April, a year ago. So we're a year behind China. We're talking about starting to do what they were doing a year ago. They put so much energy into getting you to become disenchanted with crypto that in the process, I believe the United States, for one, is shooting itself in the foot. You're spending so much time trying to scare people instead of spending time trying to innovate and create and spread a positive message. This is how we can grow. You know, positive things. These are not the things that you see promulgated in the news with any sort of emphasis, right? It's this negative headache, taxes, you know, your crypto could get confiscated. This exchange got hacked. Where was it? The Turkish Exchange. Of course, right when we get bad news last week, which is what I'm going to get to in a moment, the timing is incredible. I can't believe it. As if the bad news that we got last week, which was Joe Biden raising capital gain taxes to as much as 43.4%, which caused all financial markets to go down. If that wasn't bad enough, right when that's happening, that's when we hear Turkish Exchange closes up and the CEO disappears in a puff of smoke, closes his Twitter accounts in the middle of the night. And then, oh yeah, he opened another one when he found out that they were after him and whatever. I only had to read the first 5 lines and I was like, okay, you know what I mean? He's gone. couple of 100 million, some huge, all the money on the exchange gone. And so is he, and so is his Twitter account. That's exactly what I was saying last time about getting your money off of exchanges. Turkey, I was reading recently, is a country where the lira is doing so poorly that people are buying crypto as a hedge against inflation, right? Today, this amount of lira has so much buying power. 24 hours later, you need twice as much lira. That's like what was going on in Greece, what's going on in Venezuela, things like that. So people in Turkey are trying to do the sensible thing. And then, of course, there's always one bad apple. His eyes get big. He takes the money and runs. But the timing is incredible. Right after this really bad news for financial markets coming from the White House, that he didn't do anything yet. He's talking about proposing it for the next go around when he does his next financial proposal, talking about healthcare and schools and things like that. And we're going to raise capital gains tax to be able to pay for some of these things. So for the latter half of the week, all of the gains got destroyed. I watched Bitcoin go down to, I think, 47,000 something. I saw it as a buying opportunity. I really don't think Bitcoin's going to fold up, but people get some bad news and they start to sell. And then you have to remember you have options trading now on Bitcoin and Ethereum. And as I mentioned in a previous video, any good news gets magnified. And by the same token, any bad news gets magnified. So when they get an announcement like this, capital gains taxes are going to hit some 40%. And we're not even talking short-term capital gain. We're talking long-term capital gains, which are supposed to top out around 23%. Now they're letting the public know that they're entertaining the idea of just taking the cap off and we're going to take you all the way to 43, 44% almost. That's extreme, but it's just an idea. But doesn't it make the front page? And doesn't it make the markets cool down? And then what happens? You better believe Jamie Dimon and the bunch are right up in there with their sleeves rolled up, racking up all of the crypto that they can at these dirt cheap prices. Because 50,000, 47, 48,000 for a Bitcoin is still out of the reach of most people, but not for JP Morgan Chase, it's not. So I call this video Smoke and Mirrors because I'm constantly seeing this mechanism of showing me one thing, but doing almost the exact opposite. While they're painting this picture of crypto's a headache, they're working on a CBDC. And they're even talking about it in the back of the newspaper somewhere, the proverbial newspaper, right? But, I just say this. Look at this, for example. Here's how Bitcoin performed over the last 7 days. I mean, yesterday we were over here. Now we've started to really come back up. I'm looking at 57, 58,000 down to, as I said, 47.9, something like that. That's the 7-day chart. Let's look at the 1-year chart. See the difference? I mean, this paints a completely different picture, but that's not what they're going to show you. In the news right now, this is what you're going to see. Yeah, cryptocurrencies are risky. Never invest more than you can afford to lose. And, the dark side of the picture constantly. Not what's coming in the next 24 months. So look past the smoke, look past the mirrors, and realize that we are at the beginning of an entirely new frontier. We're at the tip of the iceberg, gang. I told you a $100,000 Bitcoin is on the table for 2021. Look what happened last year. It just shot up in December. So this constant theme of pushing the bad news, pushing the adversity, crypto exchanges getting hacked and Mt. Gox and this new Turkish exchange, this guy disappearing, and capital gains tax and IRS. And I see a constant narrative that is centered on making people, the masses, feel like, this crypto stuff, it's amazing technology and everything else, but it's such a headache. I just kind of want to let the bank take care of it. You know what I mean? It's like they're beating you into submission. That's what it is. They beat you enough. You ever heard of Stockholm Syndrome? That's when you get kidnapped by somebody and they mess your mind up so bad you start calling them daddy. That's what this is. Daddy, can I get an ice cream? This is like the guy who kidnapped you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That's dark, but this is what's going on. The public sector really didn't know about crypto. It was the private sector that brought the public sector up the learning curve. And what does the public sector do? Slap cryptocurrency with a huge lawsuit, a debilitating one that prevents the key company that could take the United States into the forefront, debilitates that company Ripple to the point where it's 6 months later and they're still on ice. And you got Dogecoin, that's all a hype. There's another perfect example. And I want to mention this article about Dogecoin because it's exactly what I'm talking about. It's written by Michael Casey. He's CoinDesk's chief content officer. And I know, look, I probably feel the same way about Dogecoin that you do. It's a meme coin. I don't own it. I don't really take it seriously. And I'm constantly baffled lately by how it is performing and getting coverage in the media. I can't believe it. While a coin like XRP can't shine, this joke of a coin is getting all of this love. And this has been sitting on CoinDesk for a couple of days now as the lead story. I don't know if it still is, but it was at least 2 days there. They wanted you to see it. Michael Casey wanted you to see this. And just to sum it up briefly, and I'll put a link to it, 2 things about this story that I like. Number 1 is he comes at you like this. Dogecoin, I know. It's a meme coin. I know. Just hear me out. Just hear me out. I feel the same way you do. Just hear me out. And so he's right away gets your pathos out of the gate by identifying with most people who are serious about cryptocurrency that I can dig it, guys. I know what you're probably thinking, but listen to me. And then he goes on to say that even though it's a bit of a joke or a lot of a joke, depending on who you are and how you look at things, it still serves to illustrate that the public sentiment toward electronic money has changed drastically and is continuing to do so. That's a big point. 3 years ago, if you try to talk to somebody about cryptocurrency, they would not even take you seriously. I've had that experience. Now it's a different story. You bring up Bitcoin at a social event or at the water cooler, people's ears perk up, right? Totally different. That's the first thing. So the public perception of cryptocurrency is changing, even though they do this smoke and mirrors thing and it's bad news first all the time, right? The other thing he mentioned was pretty cool, and that was he mentions a book called Sapiens by Yuval Harari. Came out a couple of years ago. Really good book, I hear. I haven't read it, but he says, regular readers will know I'm a fan of Yuval Harari, whose best-selling Sapiens argued that human civilization is built on our capacity to organize around commonly believed imagined concepts. Well, everything that happens starts in the imagination anyway. So let's just say things catch on when they develop a critical mass in the public consciousness. And how is that critical mass attained? Through the media. You know what I mean? The media is how messages get sent out there. Once it gets out there in the media, it's like hell to get the story righted. I mean, for a while, even the SEC Ripple thing, once they see SEC sues Ripple, do you know how many people that I know that didn't know jack squat about XRP or Ripple that were like, yeah, that's over. That's toast. Once the SEC goes after you, you're done. Guys, it's smoke and mirrors. See past the smoke and mirrors to what's going on in the background and at least try to develop a more comprehensive understanding of everything that's going on. Point is, money's changing and it needs to change because it's just being deflated to nothing. And crypto is a way to hedge against that. And it seems as the masses, for all we try to make progress, every time we take 2 steps forward, they do something to knock us 3 steps back. Ripple SEC is a perfect example. This thing should have been done already, but they're so good with the smoke and mirrors, they're able to milk it out for 6-7 months already. It's ridiculous. Meanwhile, China's just moving ahead by leaps and bounds. It's smoke and mirrors. I'm going to leave it right there. See the real story. This is Ken from Fintech Wave. Thanks for checking out this latest episode. If you like the content, please hit like and subscribe. Shout out to all the people who've subscribed already. I'm going to try to keep the quality content coming on Fintech. I appreciate you. And there's a link in the description. The Fintech Wave theme is now an NFT. See you next time, everybody. Take care.